Preloved Chica, passion for fashion. Hello everyone and welcome to the Preloved Chica show. My guest today is Stephanie Roper from the Wardrobe Angel. Hi Stephanie, how are you today?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me on again.
Oh, you're welcome. And today we're going to be talking about the tips for buying secondhand clothes. And I know you've got several things you want to share with us today, haven't you, Stephanie?
Yes, I have. Some of my favourite things that I've bought secondhand. So whether it's been eBay, vintage shops, or charity shop as well.
Oh, excellent. Well, let's just take it from the top and we'll start with each one and you can tell me where you bought it, how much you bought it for and why you like it.
Okay, so number one is it's like a H&M trend cocoon coat in leopard print and was on the shelves in the shops about 3 years ago. And I didn't snap it up and I really should have done. And it became a real blogger favourite. There were so many bloggers wearing it. And then I forgot about it for a few years. And one day I was putting an outfit together and I thought I'd really like some sort of leopard print overcoat thingy to go with all this black that I've got. So I set up an eBay alert for it and a couple of weeks later there it was and a blogger was selling it for $14.99. So I think it was $49.99 originally. So I got it at a discounted cost and also the right size. It's really, really oversized and there's no definition in it. It's just quite loose cuts.
Can you bring it closer to the camera? Because I haven't, and hold it still for a little while. Let's just take a look at it. Ah, right, I've got that. So it's your size, and you had your eye on that all those years ago, and it's come into your life.
And then it arrived, and I literally just didn't take it off for about a week. I was like, this is amazing. And I wore it to 2 client appointments, and they were like, where is that from? Where can we get that for me? And I said, oh, you're going to have to get it on eBay because they don't sell it in the shop anymore. But I think eBay is a fantastic way of finding things after they've gone out of the shops. So you can set up an eBay alert for what you're looking for. So I just simply had H&M leopard print jacket and I had H&M leopard print coat just to cover both options. And it appeared on my timeline.
Do you know, I have never thought of doing an eBay alert. That's so interesting.
It's such a good way of finding what you want. And that tip came to me from a male fashion blogger called Robert Press, who has a kind of vintage heritage kind of blog. And he lives in Leeds and he buys a load of his denim from Japan, but you can't get it in any shops over here. And it's really hard to find on Japanese websites because obviously he can't read the sizing and things because it's obviously in Japanese. So he buys loads of his denim from Japan and then gets it altered, but he does it all through eBay with eBay alerts. So it's a fantastic way of finding stuff. And if you're looking for something that has been a blogger favorite, it's maybe easier to find a couple of months down the line when bloggers are getting rid and buying something else.
Right.
It's such a good way of finding things.
Oh my gosh, that's a great tip. So thank you for that. eBay alerts, everyone.
Amazing.
What else have you got there?
Well, so one of the things I love buying is vintage clothing. So for me, vintage clothing is a real way of having a truly unique wardrobe. So I'm always striving to look a little bit different and a little bit quirky. And I started to buy vintage when I lived in London, probably about 10 years ago now. And this jacket is one of the first pieces of vintage clothing that I ever purchased. So it's a gold, I call it my jacket. It's like amazing. This was one of the first vintage pieces that I bought for £15 at a vintage fair in Chiswick in West London. And it's a label called Anne Green that I've never heard of since. I've never seen anything.
Show me the label. Bring me the label closer to the camera.
Bring me the label.
I love looking at labels.
It's just, it says Anne Green.
Okay, got it. Oh, that's a really nice label too, isn't it?
Yeah, it says it's a size large, dry clean only, made in England. And the thing with this is none of the sequins have ever fallen off. So this I kind of reckoned was maybe from the 80s. when sequins and that kind of whole kind of glam era was in. This did have small shoulder pads in, which I cut out because they were too strong. But all these sequins are sewn on individually, and that's why they haven't dropped. But if you buy something sequined in a shop, you know, near Christmas, when suddenly it's all sequins and that kind of thing, the sequins are often stitched on in sheets, and then they will drop and they will fall off.
Almost like those needles of a Christmas.
Yes. So that's why I never part with this, because the quality is amazing, and the fact that I wear it, I even wear it in summer. You know, I wear it just with a plain cotton vest underneath it, and I've wear it with jeans and sandals. It's, you know, I will never get rid of it. It's
very, very special. Oh, I love that. Really love that. Really nice.
Absolutely.
I mean, that must have cost, you know, new. Well, obviously prices would have been different, but to try and buy something equivalent today.
I think that's. When I found it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And I bought something else at the same time, and I can't remember what that is. I bought two things, but this has just stayed. This is, you know, this will never go. So so I've had that like over 10 years now. It's been been amazing.
Love it. What else have you got on your list of things?
So one of the things that I really love about vintage clothing is if they've lasted since maybe like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and now, then they're going to carry on lasting. Their construction is probably better than what you can buy now in terms of the seams and the stitching and the fabric. So some people think that vintage clothing is maybe a bit smelly. It can bring moths into the house. So what I would say is just if you do want to have a truly original wardrobe, and you are you're prepared to spend maybe upwards of £40 on something, it is worth going after some real kind of vintage gems. So the next coat that I have, I bought this. It's a fake fur coat, and I bought it from Beyond Retro in London just before Christmas. Right. So it's it's like a fake polar bear, you know. Oh, it's so gorgeous.
Oh, and it's lovely. It's nicely lined as well.
It's so nice lined. It's got two really, really deep pockets on the side, so you can get gloves in there. Yeah. And it did have, I think it did have a belt. There was a couple of little belt loops, but I chopped those off. It's beautifully lined, and it's, so this is the label.
Okay.
Again, made in England.
Right. And okay. So how old do you think that is? Do you think that's 70s or 80s?
70s or 80s, I reckon. So it's Marno Minic. Can you see that?
Yes, yeah. Marno.
Made in England again. Yeah. And it's all acrylic. It's fake fur, but it looks really, really real. And it's the warmest thing. Oh my God, like the winters up north, they are pretty crazy. And this is just, so beautiful. But because I think you can get a fake fur coat in any high street shop, but I wanted one that looked as real as possible. And there's a label called Shrimps that do fake fur coats that look real in kind of really crazy colors, but they're, you know, £600-800 each. Wow. So but it's they're starting to do clothes now as Shrimps. It's a fantastic label. But I love vintage clothing. I thought, right, I'm gonna go and buy a fake fur coat, and I think it was 45 quid. But for a coat, that's really good. That's really good value, you know. Absolutely. And so that for me,
I always think, well, I wonder, you know, who's owned it and where they've worn it, you know. I need to know about that, you know.
Well, you know, they might have been wearing it to go like ice skating, or, you know, to like a Christmas party.
Yes, yeah.
Inside it, but it's gorgeous. And what I did when I brought that home was it did smell. I'm not gonna lie, because Beyond Retro is huge vintage. There's 3 different sites in London, and they're just full of clothes, and they're all vintage, so they all kind of have that kind of musty smell about them. So when I brought it home, I hung it in the conservatory with the windows open to air it, and then I sprayed the lining with Febreze,
Okay.
The kind of fabric freshener.
Yes.
And then I hung it with anti-moth as well. And this was all in the conservatory for about a week, and I just didn't bring it up to my wardrobe until the smell had gone, and until I was really sure that it wasn't kind of carrying any like critters in it. Yes. So yeah, so vintage clothing does take a little bit more effort initially, I think, but
it's worth it though, because I bought this really colourful coat from a charity shop, and it said dry clean only, and it smelled so bad. And I said, I'm not sure I can take this. Well, she said, have it as a reduced price, And I thought, well, it was so cheap. I thought I'll just put it in the washing machine, and I washed it, and it's come up new and no smell at all. It's beautiful.
Yes. And that's the thing, a lot of labels nowadays for high street stuff will put dry clean only in their labels to cover themselves in case people wash it incorrectly in the washing machine and want a refund. But actually you can wash a lot more things in the washing machine than you think, like silk and wool can go in on a delicate cycle. My washing machine's got this amazing cycle just called a refresh cycle. You stick something in for 9 minutes and it gets a really quick ring.
Yeah.
Really good.
Oh, God. Very, very environmentally friendly as well. What else have you got there?
So just talking about that, it's a really good point about clothes that smell bad when you get them. So this is a jacket from eBay that I bought last summer. I'd been wanting a really colourful short jacket for summer. This is awesome. So
that is so different. Hold it still a moment. Is that sort of, it's woven cloth, isn't it?
Yeah. And it has on the cuffs, it's got like suede and then this chain material and then ribbon, and it's all edged.
Wow, that is so different. It's almost like South American somehow in the style of it.
Yeah. With all the triangular shape, it's quite Aztec-y, like in its construction. So I bought this on eBay. I saw this exact jacket at a client's house and got obsessed with it. And when I was styling her, I was like, let's use that jacket again. Let's use that jacket again. And she said, Stephanie, I think you just need to go and find your own jacket. You're not taking this home with you. And I was like, no, fair enough. So I came home and again, set up a Google, an eBay alert for it.
Yes.
And it was just there within 3 days. So I bought it, and when it arrived, it absolutely stank of smoke. It just reeked.
Oh.
And it says in it, dry clean only. So what I did was just really, really gently just hand washed it, because it has all this chain on it that I didn't want it to come loose in the washing machine from being taken around. And then I did the same thing. I just drip dried it in the conservatory with anti-moth and Febreze, and that got rid of the smell. But when I wore this last summer, because it wasn't available in the shops, I had so many compliments on it and people asking me, where did you get that? And that's the beauty of buying Preloved, is that you won't see every second person on the high street wearing the same thing as you. You will have that uniqueness about your outfit, I think.
Oh, definitely. I bought it was a pop-up dress agency just for 2 weeks. Half the proceeds were going to the Mine charity, and I bought this jacket, Dolce and Gabbana jacket. I've never owned anything like that, and I wore it yesterday, and one guy in the street said, like your jacket.
You're like, hey, don't come any near, it's Dolce.
It was £45, so it was quite expensive. Well, for the prices I pay normally. But cheap as anything compared to how much it would have been.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you would have been talking hundreds for that. So you got a really good bargain, and you were donating to charity.
Absolutely.
At the same time. So you can polish your halo now.
Yeah. Before it strangles me. Okay, anything else?
So the other thing, there's two other bits. So the next one is a vintage t-shirt that I bought from there's a vintage shop in Manchester called Cow Vintage in the Northern Quarter. And I've been after a t-shirt with a wolf on it for ages, because I love like logo print kind of t-shirts. So this, I think, is this says this is from 2004 on the back. So it has like a date on it already. So this t-shirt has already lasted 12 years, and none of the print on the front has worn away, and you don't know if you can see just around here it's slightly fading.
Yes, a little bit. Yes.
But what I loved about it was that none of this has cracked and fallen off yet. And for me, show
it to us. Just put it more into the center. Let's have a look. So it says, what does it say? Black Hills Rally.
Black Hills Rally, Sturgis Ride 2004.
Oh, it's a bikers team.
Yeah, I just love it. So this is 15 quid, and I was so happy with it because none of this has come off. And that's the thing, if you're buying something with an imprint on it, it will either come off or fade over time. And I thought, well, that's lasted like 16 years already, so
gosh,
win.
Absolutely
win.
Yeah.
And then this is a beauty. So there's a couple of really good charity shops near my house, and loads of I think I've got a camel coat that I bought from a charity shop. That's a short one. And just before Christmas, or maybe it was, just before Christmas, I was thinking, right, I'm gonna buy a full-length coat. And I felt like such a lady, because I was like, oh my god, a full-length coat, this is amazing. And I just happened to be passing this charity shop in Halifax Town Centre. I think it's Marie Curie. And I just dove in, having a quick rifle, and there was this full-length camel coat. It looks a bit brown on the camera, but it's actually camel. It's like a toffee color. So it's 100% wool.
Yes.
See there.
Yes.
It had massive shoulder pads in it, which I've cut out.
Right.
So you can see there the gap where I've pulled out the shoulder pad.
So you haven't re-sewn them then? You've just taken them out?
Taken them out. I'm going to see my seamstress lady. I can't sew, so I'm going to see her this week. She needs to take a dress in for me as well. This was £4. That's a full-length wool coat. And on the blogosphere and on the internet last kind of December, kind of Christmas period, there were so many full-length coats from Gant and Topshop, all retailing for over £160, £200. And this was £4. And it's the warmest thing ever. And I think for me, it's not that I can't afford to spend that much money on a coat, but I think for me it's like, if I couldn't get it cheaper and it'll be individual, and I know that it's already lasted a certain amount of time, I know that it'll last in the future. That's always my thinking of buying coats and things like that from charity shops, is that because this was blatantly from the 80s, the shoulder pads were enormous, and it's it's lasted. It's amazing.
Do you know, I mean, I have so enjoyed seeing your treasures, the things that you've bought, and what you were saying about, the longevity of these clothes, and the uniqueness, and, who wants to just follow the fashion that everyone else wears?
I think it's really good, if you're interested in fashion, to have a really good understanding of how the fashion industry works and trends and where they come from, because fashion is it's a cyclical thing, but trends flow up and down from the street upwards and from designers downwards. But within that, you don't have to take on every single trend, because if you do, you will never be an individual. You'll always just be a sheep following the crowd. And many designers, like Vivienne Westwood, have spoken out and said, buy less, buy quality, make it last. And that really does feed into having your own style and being really selective about what you purchase and bring into your wardrobe to make what you wear a true reflection of who you are.
Oh, you don't need to say anything more. That is a wonderful, wonderful conclusion to our time together. Stephanie, thank you so much. I am now going to rush down to the charity shop for me today. You've inspired me so much. So it's been a great pleasure, and hopefully we'll have another opportunity to get together on one of our Preloved Chica shows. Thanks again, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.